Ange Postecoglou officially starts his role as Tottenham Hotspur head coach today at Hotspur Way, alongside all of his coaching staff and alongside Chief Football Officer Scott Munn. Lots of transfer reports, lots of transfer rumours. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg may be leaving Spurs this summer, and Spurs are still interested in Tosin Adarabioyo from Fulham. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And just before I start, just a massive thank you to every single subscriber on the YouTube channel. We have just gone past 85,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for all of your support. So let's start by talking about a new era at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Today is Saturday, the 1st of July. New head coach Ange Postecoglou and all of his coaching staff start officially at Hotspur Way today, as does new football officer Scott Munn. So wishing them all of the very best. Now, on Friday afternoon, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club confirmed that the development squad will travel to face Stevenage in a pre-season friendly on Saturday, the 29th of July. Kick-off at the Lameck Stadium will be 3 p.m, a venue our under-21s know very well. And earlier this month, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club announced that our under-21s will visit neighbours Enfield Town for a pre-season friendly on Tuesday, the 18th of July. Football.London have provided a couple of updates stating that Joe Rodon has interest from clubs in France currently, and Tosin Adarabioyo, the Fulham centre-back, remains on Tottenham's list of targets this summer. The Daily Telegraph have just reported that Spurs are actively looking to sell left-back Ryan Sessegnon this summer, and defender Eric Dyer wants to fight for his place under new boss Ange Postecoglou. And the Daily Mail have just reported that Spurs are ready to offload and sell Pierre-Emile Højbjerg this summer. Now, early Saturday morning, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club put out a couple of announcements about new contracts for development players. Matthew Craig has put pen to paper on a new contract with the club that will run until 2026. And congratulations to Niall John, who has signed a new contract with the club that will run until 2025. The Daily Express have just reported that Spurs could go back to Leicester City after signing James Maddison to now go back to sign Harvey Barnes. They have stated despite spending his whole career at Leicester City, their shock relegation to the Championship is likely to see 25-year-old Harvey Barnes leave Leicester this summer. The winger, who scored 13 goals in 34 Premier League games last season, will need to leave the Foxes to help his international ambitions with England. James Maddison has already made the switch to Spurs, and Postecoglou will be hoping to persuade Harvey Barnes to make the same move. However, West Ham are also interested, and the London rivals look set to battle for his signature in the next few weeks. Also in the report, it says that Spurs have already begun their summer rebuild, with winger Dejan Kulusevski, attacking midfielder Maddison and goalkeeper Vicario signing for next season. Next, Spurs will have to address their defensive problems, having conceded 63 goals last season. Postecoglou will be encouraged by the fact that his new employers are very close to sealing the transfer of Bayer Leverkusen defender Edmund Tapsoba for a fee of around £25 million. A defensive overhaul could be the head coach's biggest task this summer, with Clement Longley returning to Barcelona following his season-long loan and other defenders rumoured to be exiting. The report then goes on to say that Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer and Ben Davies could all make way to free up finances for replacements, and Postecoglou could also have a battle on his hands from Liverpool in the race to sign Wolfsburg defender Mickey van der Ven. The Dutch defender is reportedly keen to work alongside Virgil van Dijk at Anfield, and the new Spurs boss will have to persuade him to make a London move. Fulham defender Tosin Adarabioyo is also another option if Arsenal decide not to make a bid after being handed a strict deadline to complete a £10 million move. Now, my thoughts on all of these stories in today's episode. Let me start by wishing Scott Munn and, of course, new boss Ange Postecoglou and all of his coaching staff the very, very best. It is Saturday, the 1st of July. They officially start today at Hotspur Way. And from what I understand, a lot of the players will be back training today at Hotspur Way. And the players that played international matches within the last couple of weeks, they will return to Hotspur Way on the 10th of July, Harry Kane and co. So Ange Postecoglou will have, of course, today, tomorrow, all of next week, to work with a lot of these Tottenham Hotspur players. You know, certainly the players that have come back from loan spells: Tanguy Ndombele, Giovanni Lo Celso, Reguilon, Rodon. There are so many. Of course, Harry Winks is ready to go out the door. Harry Winks' transfer to Leicester City is meant to go through this weekend, so I'm sure that we will get an announcement from Leicester and Tottenham Hotspur either today or tomorrow. But as I said, wishing Ange Postecoglou, Scott Munn, all of the very best in their new roles. Of course, this is a new era for Tottenham Hotspur, and let's hope that it is a successful one. The rebuild has started at the club, and let's hope that it will be a good rebuild. A big rebuild and a successful one. What I have really liked, every single time I have heard or watched an interview with Ange Postecoglou, it has been very, very impressive. I like what he says. He seems to be a great people person. He seems to want to talk to every single player, tell them the situation, tell him how he feels, tell him what he expects. I absolutely love his approach. And I must say as well, this past week, it's been a good week for Spurs, I might add. A lot of Spurs fans have had big smiles on their faces. Vicario has signed for Spurs from Empoli. And, of course, James Maddison, a real statement signing, in my opinion, from Leicester City. £40 million, of course, plus add-ons. But, you know, the interviews from Postecoglou, the interview from Vicario, and the interviews that I've seen so far from James Maddison since signing for Spurs have been very, very impressive. I've been super impressed with all three interviews. So not only Spurs are signing good players, but they're signing good people. You know, people that are excited to join the football club. And, you know, certainly James Maddison, well, and Vicario, I might add. You know, they've gone in that dressing room, they've gone out onto the pitch, they've seen the stadium, and they look wowed. They look absolutely wowed, and they look so thrilled to be here, which is a real delight to see. With all of that said, though, of course, we are a fantastic team going forward in terms of players that we've got. Personnel: Harry Kane, Son, Kulusevski, of course Maddison now. So many good players going forward. But what we did lack last season, and that is defensive quality. And that is what we still need to work on. I know there is a couple of weeks yet, just over 2 weeks before we fly out to Perth, Australia to play our first pre-season game against West Ham United. It would be nice in the next couple of weeks that Spurs do actually bring in defensive reinforcements. And I would say we need a real quality centre-back to come in. You know, a player that we all know, a player that we can all get excited about. I think that it's all well and good bringing in, you know, good players like James Maddison and Vicario. But unless we do improve that back line, we will still have problems. So that back line for me is so important. It must be, you know, very, very high, if not at the top of the priority list right now, to bring in defensive options. We've spoken about so often about players like Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez, etc. You know, these players, in my opinion, must head out the door this summer. But from what I hear, and, you know, the journalists I speak to on a regular basis, Eric Dyer now wants to fight for his place at Tottenham. He wants to impress Ange Postecoglou, and he wants to stay at Spurs. So that'll be an interesting one. But I do think that Spurs do need to bring in at least two centre-backs this summer to show real intent for next season. Because, as I said, we're great going forward. We know that we can score goals, but the amount of goals and the amount of mistakes that we made defensively last season, it must be rectified. It must be put right. Quality needs to come in without any doubt. Now, even when James Maddison had his interview with Tottenham, he actually said on there, Ange Postecoglou and him, they spoke, and he said this is going to be a new look Tottenham. Now, talking about a new look Tottenham, lots of reports out stating that Spurs are actively trying to sell Ryan Sessegnon. If I'm honest, I was very excited when we signed him, as were most Spurs fans. You know, most Spurs fans wanted Spurs to sign him. They did, and it hasn't quite worked out. He's had a lot of injury problems. He's had a lot of issues. Of course, he spent time away at loan as well. So I think the Spurs should cash in on Ryan Sessegnon. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, the Mail have stated that Spurs are ready to offload him. That's going to be an interesting one. Many journalists and many pundits have stated that Pierre-Emile Højbjerg will not fit into Ange Postecoglou's system. What I would say to that, quite simply, is that the manager needs to put his stamp on this squad, put his stamp on this team. So if he doesn't think that some players are going to fit his system and play the way he wants to, then offload them, sell them, and bring new players in. You know, I'm sure most Spurs fans will wish Pierre-Emile Højbjerg all of the very best if he does leave this summer. Joe Rodon has interest from clubs in France. That is another player that I feel must move on for his own sake. He seems to play more games for Wales international team than he does actually for Tottenham Hotspur. And we're again being linked with Tosin Adarabioyo from Fulham. That'll be an interesting one because as I read out that report from the Daily Express, Arsenal are also interested, and I'm sure other clubs are interested as well. So if Spurs want to get that one done, they will need to act pretty quickly. But as I said, real quality still needs to come in. The rebuild has started though, and as I will say again, the mood amongst the fan base in this past week has been delightful. It has been very, very pleasing to see lots of people in a very, very good mood. And I must say, I can't remember a week like it because these last few years have been pretty dismal. Lots of people quite down about what has been happening at the club. The club has been going round in circles. As I've said, some people say that we've gone backwards. Perhaps we have, because of course we're not going to be playing European football next season. But this is a new era under a new manager, under a new chief football officer as well. So let's hope the good times are ahead. Let's hope that we can see a couple more signings of real quality in these next few weeks. And of course, a few more before the window closes on the 1st of September. But a good week for Spurs. Let it continue. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. Until the next time, come on you Spurs.